Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how much outreach I think you should be doing on a daily basis for your social media marketing agency. I'm going to give you my opinion on that. Now, in my time running my social media marketing agency, I've reached out to thousands upon thousands of businesses, set up hundreds of meetings, and landed dozens and dozens of clients. I will also say that before we actually get into the rest of the video, the answer that you're going to hear in this video probably isn't the answer that you'd want to hear, but I think it's the answer that you need to hear and the answer that I think will help you the most. Now, before we hop into the rest of the video, I just want to say be sure to smash the thumbs up button as it greatly helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel to see future content from me. And if you are interested, check the first link in the description for my exclusive one-on-one coaching program. In that program, I'll help you craft your outreach, build your team, get your first client, and then scale up to multiple clients after that, just as I've done for myself. So if you are interested, check the first link in the description. Now let's hop into the rest of the video. So as I mentioned before, this not being necessarily the answer that you'd want to hear, the answer is there is no exact answer. Now, there's a lot of variables that go into it, some of which I'll touch on here. One of them being it depends upon how much time that you actually have available. So for example, let's say one person has a full-time job versus someone else has nothing to do and they basically have free time the entire day. Obviously, the number of outreach each of them should be doing will be greatly different. You know, let's say someone's in school, someone has a job, someone has more free time. Someone works on weekends, someone just has the entire weekend free to build systems. Like, it really just depends on how much free time you actually have. That's one of the variables that goes into it, at least. Another one is depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to land 10 clients a month, obviously you should probably be doing more outreach than the guy whose goal is to land 2 clients a month, right? So again, it's very customized depending on your exact situation. Another thing too is it depends on which outreach method you're going to be doing. So for example, in the warmer outreach methods that I've done myself and that I personally endorse, that might be like you might need to do a little bit less outreach than, let's say, someone who's doing straight up cold email. So let's say you're sending proposals on Upwork, Freelancer, Guru. 20 outreach could be a good number for you, but if you're doing 20 cold emails a day, that's not going to be enough. Like typically people that are doing cold email will do 100, 200, 300, sometimes even 500 outreach a day. So it also depends on the outreach method you're doing. And even in that too, I will say it depends on how much experience and how much social proof you have. So for example, let's say someone's on Upwork and they have an established profile, an optimized cover letter, and a lot of case studies. That person might also need to do a little bit less to get the same number of meetings and to land the same number of clients as someone who's just starting out and doesn't have that same level of social proof. So I think that's another variable that goes into it. So once you're more established, you might need to do less outreach than, let's say, someone who's just starting out to get the same results. And that's kind of just how it goes, and that's why it's important that you stick at whatever you're doing for the long run so you can get to the other side where things become easier and you have that momentum, you have the credibility, you have the social proof, and you have the systems in place. So I think that's super important. So now that we've covered some of the variables that will actually determine, maybe how many outreach you should be doing on a daily basis, one lesson I want to say is it's important to actually know your numbers. So going hand in hand with that, you want to reverse engineer your goals. So as you're doing outreach, you want to keep track of how many outreach you're doing and how many outreach it takes to get a reply, and then how many replies you need to actually book a meeting, then how many meetings you actually need to book to close a client. So you want to be keeping track of that flow so that at the end of the day, once you have some experience, you've been doing outreach for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you actually can look at it and say, okay, you can just start looking at those numbers and you can actually reverse engineer those goals based on how many clients you want to land based on the position you're in. So again, you're not just taking a random outreach number thrown out by someone, but you know that for your exact situation, based on the replies that you're getting, how much outreach you need to be doing to hit your goals, which I think is the most important. Another thing I do want to say is it's all about consistency. So one of the things that really helped me a lot when I was getting started and getting to where I am today is focusing on being consistent. So again, going hand in hand with knowing your numbers, reverse engineering your goals, I would say focus on consistency over intensity, meaning that in the beginning, if you only have time to do, let's say 5 outreach a day, stick to that 5 outreach a day consistently over the course of a month, and don't be that person that does 30 outreach on one day, burns himself out, and then gives up, because there's really no point in that. So focus on consistency over intensity. And then once you have the consistency and you're building more self-confidence, keeping your promises to yourself, then you can scale up to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 outreach a day as well. And then again, when you're getting to a point maybe where it makes sense, you can potentially even bring on a team member to help you do outreach as well. So you can be hitting even more numbers. The last thing I just want to say on that is, if you have one client or you have no clients, the main thing you should be doing, let's say 80% plus of your time, should just be focusing on outreach and landing more appointments. So, I see a lot of beginners make mistakes and you want to focus on building your logo or focusing on your agency name or your website. And those things can be great in the future. But if you're in the position where you're just starting out and your goal is to land clients, then you need to be spending most of the time that you're working on doing outreach, on landing meetings, on generating appointments and closing deals, right? Because that's ultimately how you're going to go from a place where you only have one client or no clients to 5, 10, 15 clients, is by doing outreach, doing it consistently, and keeping track of your numbers. So that's my opinion when it comes down to how much outreach you should be doing on a daily basis for your social media marketing agency. I think you can use some of the tips in this video to actually come up with your personalized number that will ultimately help you reach your goals. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash the thumbs up button, comment below, and let me know actually maybe what you calculate your perfect outreach number to be. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, if you do want to work with me one-on-one to craft your own outreach strategy, land your first client, scale up to 10, 20, 30 clients, check the first link in the description for my exclusive one-on-one coaching program. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.